Okay, so that's very interesting. But that type of person sounds like an unattractive type of person, right? Anyone who's signaling victimhood without actually being a victim. I don't think anyone finds that attractive. However, according to what you wrote, women are more attracted to people who score higher in these dark triad personality traits.
Yeah, well, that was a study. I want to say it was from 2015. This team of researchers, they had some women evaluate a man, basically his suitability as a romantic partner. And what they found is that men who score highly on the dark triad relative to an ordinary man, so an average guy versus a guy who's really high on the dark triad, they score the dark triad guy to be quite a bit more attractive. So one standard deviation more attractive than the
Mm-hmm.
average. And a standard deviation is a lot in psychological research, that sort of that gap. I'd imagine, I can't remember the specific details of how they sort of characterize this guy, this dark triad guy, but I'd imagine they weren't saying like he, talks about how he's a victim or whatever.
Yeah.
They probably talk about how he tends to be sort of superficially charming and maybe a little bit callous and uncaring and emotionally distant and these kinds of things. And something else I had written in that article, sort of summarizing a lot of this research. Justin Lehmiller, who's a sexual psychologist, wrote a book called Tell Me What You Want about sexual fantasies. And he writes about how the most fantasized about superheroes among women, the most fantasized superhero is Batman, which is an interesting contrast with the most fantasized superhero among gay men, which are Captain America and Superman. And I found that kind of that difference to be interesting, right? Because like Superman and Captain America are like these goody two shoes Boy Scouts, like these are the guys that little boys look up to as like the sort of like the most pure and noble superheroes. And I think Batman is often seen as like this sort of darker, edgier, like almost like he's a villain, but he still does the right thing. But you could imagine him going to the dark side. And this is the guy that women, of all the superheroes, that's the one that they seem to like the most.
That's so funny. That's so funny. I never liked Captain America. It's like
What
that
about
guy's
Superman?
boring. Oh, Superman too. Well, Superman mostly because it's like he can do everything. So he's gonna win.
Right.
It's like
Okay.
it's too old of a superhero. There's no weakness there. What's his weak? I guess kryptonite's the weakness. But I mean, come on.
One thing I would be curious about, I don't know of any research on this, but I don't know, did you see that new James Bond movie, No Time to Die?
Is that the newest one
The
that
newest one
just
with
came
Daniel
out?
Craig. Yeah, it came out like a couple months ago.
Okay, no, I haven't. I really want to see that. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I thought it was good. It's not like the best James Bond ever, but I thought it was really good. But one of the things that's interesting about the Bond series is how like the earlier Bond movies were sort of more campy, a little bit. There was a little bit more humor in them, but starting with the latest Bond with Daniel Craig, like the series took this more sort of darker, edgier turn, and the Daniel Craig Bond. He gets injured more. He's more vulnerable. He gets beaten up. You can sort of see the physical effects throughout the movie of him sort of becoming more and more damaged. And he himself is sort of a more edgy and rough character. And I would love to see, if there's any data on like maybe 30 years ago, whoever was Bond 30 years ago, how did women feel about that Bond versus the Bond today, and see like which James Bond is like the most appealing to women or to viewers in general.
Yeah, or if that has changed, right? I mean,
Mm.
maybe it was the same percentage of women back then as it is now, but women now don't find that attractive.
Oh, that's a good point too. Yep.